We are just about to get started. I will just give everyone just a couple more minutes to join, and then we'll go on ahead. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Great to have you here joining us for this session with Chandra Kachhipati from Nepal in celebration of World Fair Trade Day, which is actually on Saturday, the 8th of May, but we're celebrating all week this week, so lots of really exciting things going on. Before I introduce Chandra, I just wanted to talk you through how things will work for our session tonight. This is a Zoom webinar session. So for those of you who might be used to Zoom calls where when you jump online, you're actually joining in a joint video chat. This as a webinar, if you're an attendee, you won't be on video, you'll just be listening, and you'll be listening to myself and Chandra this evening. If you have questions, the best way for you to put those forward is I'd ask you to either please put them into the chat or into the Q&A chat, and I will compile those and we can then answer those for you at the end with Chandra and have a chat about that and discuss them. You can also raise your hand in the session, although we will hold questions until the end. Lovely for everyone to say hi in the chat as well. Hi, Robert, good to see you there. Hi, Glennis. Good to see some folks from WA on the call. All right, so without further ado, I will introduce Chandra. I would just add that when Chandra is speaking this evening, his video unfortunately doesn't seem to be working for us today. So as he talks to his slides, you'll be hearing from him, but you may not be able to see him, unfortunately. So it's really great to have Chandra here. He is actually in Sydney at the moment. Unfortunately, we did decide to change this to an online meeting this time around. But for those of you who would like to meet Chandra in person, he will be with me at lunchtime on Saturday in Chatswood at the Fair Trade Market on Saturday, actually on World Fair Trade Day, and we'll be doing a bit of in-conversation chat there as well. Okay, all right. Hi, everybody. I think that's everything. So, yeah, and again, just add any questions to the chat and I'll address those as we go through. Okay, so Chandra, over to you. I'll stop here and let you begin. So Chandra, you just need to unmute there.
Hello, do you speak?
Hi, Chandra, we can hear you. Yes, thank you. And you can try putting your video on, although we know that's probably not going to work, unfortunately. But
I think it won't work.
Yeah.
So anyway, good afternoon and namaste. Let me start first expressing my sincere thanks to Fair Trade Association Australia for giving me this opportunity to share a case of my organization Sana Hastakala, which is a Nepal-based fair trade organization. And during my presentation, first I will briefly give you some background and our journey for last 30 years to become a successful fair trade organization. And in the second part, I will try to share with you impact of the current pandemic. So how we struggled and still struggling, and what strategies we introduced to survive and sustain. Uh, so I will try to conclude my presentation in 30 minutes. So I will use the PowerPoint presentation, and, and I start with the background of how fair trade organizations started in general in Nepal. So in Nepal, fair trade organizations started in early 1980s, mostly as non-governmental organizations. And our focus, so we target women and marginalized producers and to create employment through the production and marketing of handicrafts and creating other opportunities for them as well as providing them social benefits. And my own organization, Sana Hastakala, was established in 1989 with the initial support of UNICEF to help small-scale home-based artisans and craft producers. So we provide support to those small-scale artisans and marginalized producers with local and international markets, design services, market information, and through a community development fund, which we generate from the income we generate from the sales. We provide interest-free loan to the producers, different type of trainings, provide tools and equipment to enhance their production, and do different kind of community development services through different organizations. So our mission uh, our mission is stated like this. Sana Hastakala provides business and community development programs to underprivileged handicraft producers with the aim of uplifting their socio-economic conditions by selling high priority traditional crafts to national and international markets through fair practices. So these are some of our objectives. I won't go in detail. So our organizational structure and the people involved currently, we have 48 staffs and in-house producers. And we work with about 150 home-based producers and 65 different producers group, which produce different categories of crafts. And most of them are small enterprises or home-based enterprises. And so altogether, we provide service to around 1,200 artisans. And most of them are women and marginalized. So going through our brief journey, as I said earlier, our journey started in 1989 with the opening of a retail showroom with the UNICEF support, addressing the market requirements of small handicraft producers. So that can cater wider selection of products in a special place. Followed the next year, we did some pottery exhibition and contemporary crafts with the support of Indian designer. And in the second year, so we started with the initial support, financial and technical support of UNICEF, but within 2 years, in 1991, we achieved self-sufficiency. So we started to support through the income we make from our business. And our involvement in fair trade started in the year 1995. So we participated in the Fair Trade movement and became the founder member of Fair Trade Group Nepal. So Fair Trade Group Nepal is a national network of fair trade organizations in Nepal. Uh, Actually, it was started informally in 1993 and formally registered in 1996 with the objective to develop constructive collaboration among fair trading and like-minded organizations to influence policy and promote fair trade in Nepal and enhance solidarity among FTAs. So the Fair Trade Group Nepal is one of the very active and strong country networks of WFTO, and currently it has 26 member organizations collectively providing directly and indirect support to above 50,000 producers, and it contributes more than 20% of total export of handicrafts from Nepal. And then we started organizing different workshops, training programs. Likewise, initially we started selling products from outside producers group, but from 1997 we established our one production unit. And since we were established at UNGO, it was difficult for us to be involved in export. So in order to meet the export requirement, we established Sana Hastakala Private Limited export company with equity of NGO. And in 2003, we took the membership of then IFAC, now the World Fair Trade Organization, and started celebrating different activities and celebrate World Fair Trade Day. And the regional network of fair trade, the then Asia Fair Trade Forum, we took the membership in 2004. And from 2006, we started organizing different festivals based on the ethnic groups, different ethnic groups of Nepal. So Nepal is very rich in ethnic groups. We have more than 80 different ethnic groups. So focusing on some particular ethnic group and displaying and promoting the craft based on culture, we started observing different festivals. So in 2009, we celebrated our 20th anniversary where we recognized our staffs who had been serving for 20 years. So we recognized our producers. And we were happy to get Best Entrepreneurs Award in 2000 year by the Handicraft Association of Nepal. And from there onwards, we received a lot of recognitions and awards for our work in the export of handicrafts, at the same time providing different opportunities for the marginalized producers, design awards. And in 2014, we celebrated our Silver Jubilee with different activities like blood donation, river cleaning campaign, open house, interaction program on fair trade supply chain, and cash incentive distribution to the producers. And then in 2015, as you all know, so there was a big earthquake in Nepal, which had a greater impact on the lives of people, and our organizations and producers and staff were also impacted. Some of them lost their houses, and we involved ourselves in supporting the victims of earthquake. And together with Fair Trade Group Nepal, we were involved in giving the immediate cash support to our staffs, producers, and distribution of essential goods. As we all know, WTO has introduced a guarantee system to certify the 100% fair trade. And we were the part of that, and we have been able to become the guaranteed fair trade organizations in 2015. And in 2017, Sana Hastakala, we were the part of a fair trade finance program with the support of CBI Netherlands, where the 7 fair trade organizations from Nepal, we worked together and participated in Ambiente Fair in Messe, Frankfurt under one umbrella as a fair trade finance. So that was that helped us in identifying many mainstream buyers. So far, we have been fully dependent on fair trade buyers. And in 2019, again, we celebrated our 30th anniversary. And so our business as a part of Fair Trade organization, so we witnessed the growth of our business. We developed contact with more and more fair trade buyers. But suddenly in 2019, we experienced a bit uh, uh, bad consequences. Like the same year, in the year 2019, all the three major fair trade buyers organizations, they collapsed. Like you all might know, the Oxfam Australia, the 10,000 Villages Canada, uh, the CTM based in Italy, they also stopped working on the garment. So our production unit was heavily dependent on the garment order from CTM. So major outstanding and major buyers. So they stopped their working, and so we not only we, most of the theater organizations in Nepal were hard hit by that decision. So in 31 years, when we look back into our achievements, we feel proud that Sana Hastakala has become a successful FTO with business link with more than 30 buyers in more than 15 countries. And we have been able to develop network at national and international level. And we have seen a lot of marginalized producers change from vulnerability to the secured life, and we have witnessed most of artisans becoming successful entrepreneurs and giving more and more employment opportunities to the needy people. So we have been able to get a lot of recognitions from development sector, from government sector, and we have been able to preserve and promote our traditional skills and craft. And at the same time, we have been able to develop different kinds of community development activities. And we're equally busy in advocating fair trade with the business organizations, mainstream market, as well as the government policy makers. So to give you just a brief idea of our producers, so I'm showing you some of the photographs of the producers, like the traditional backstrap weaving, handloom weaving, and these are some of our in-house producers who are all hearing impaired. So our focus and our target is the people with who are defensively able, single women from the ethnic groups and so on. So these are some of our producers with hearing impaired, and other producers like this knitting, uh, some traditional metal work like filigree making, ceramics, our traditional art, mithila painting, felt making. So these are some of the photographs. And through the community development activities, what sort of producer support we do is mostly different kind of trainings and providing small grant and small capital goods purchase, exposure visits, recognitions, advance payments, and loan, interest-free loan for their business capacity development, design information, marketing information, promotional activities. We do a lot of interaction programs, and we do continuous health support programs. So these are some of the photographs of those producers and community development activities like the health camp, stationery distribution to the school, interest-free loan for to improve the electric kiln for our ceramic producer, and design competition, and support to different uh, organizations like Muscular Dystrophy Child Care Society, And these are some of the photographs of the ethnic or traditional festivals we organize to promote the craft and culture of some of the ethnic groups like Newar community, Tharu community. And we have been very active in celebrating World Fair Trade Day from the beginning, and we do different activities to celebrate World Fair Trade Day, like awareness program on rainwater preservation, innovative handicraft design, essay competition among students. So these are in brief some of the highlights of what we did in last 31 years. Now coming to the second part, the impact of COVID. So as we all know, so no one is spared from the impact of this pandemic, and so did we. In Nepal, the first lockdown was introduced in the mid-March of 2020, and it lasted until mid-June. So for complete 3 years, everything was closed. And so all the shops, production, export, everything was halted for complete 3 months. And after that, also there were some restrictions. The lockdown was lifted, but there were still restrictions, like we were allowed to run the vehicles with odd and even numbers and so on. So though we started our work after 3 months, it was not in the full swing. So with taking care of health and safety measures, we started opening with few of the staffs and producers. And again, we experienced another lockdown for 1 month in July 2020 last year. So for almost 4 years, everything was completely stopped. And that resulted in, of course, in decline of retail sales. So in our total turnover, 20% comes from our retail shop and 80% comes from export. And our main customers are tourists and expatriates. So with the closure of the stops, it has greatly impacted on our local sales, and still it's being the same case. And export was also the effect was also in the export. For 4 months, we couldn't do any shipments. And even after the opening of lockdown, we found it difficult because all the international flights were not operating, so we couldn't ship the goods. And when some flights are available, the freight is quite expensive. It's almost double. So we used to ship goods for $4 per kg to US, and after the lockdown, we have to pay between $8 and $10 per kilo. And most of the FTOs, including our organization, we witnessed the cash flow problem because of the drop in the sales and export. And so we experienced the big business loss. So far, the last year was the first business loss we experienced. And though the impact was very big, we continued to support our producers, staffs. So the immediate work we did is the distribution of this PPE, distribution of masks, sanitizers, gloves, seals, and so on. So we started working, taking care of the safety measures of all our producers and staffs. And we did the insurance for all staffs and producers. And though we had to incur a great loss and cash flow problem, so we tried to pay the salary to our staffs and producers. For the first month, though the whole month was completely shut down, we paid the full salary for that month. And for the remaining 3 months, though everything was closed, so we paid them half-month salary. And besides that, we distributed the essential food items, and at the same time, we did some health checkups to our staffs and producers. So these are some of the photographs of our the support activities. the distribution of PPEs, distribution of essential goods. And now, so what strategy we took? Yeah, though the pandemic, so the pandemic has disrupted all the businesses, not only the fair trade organizations, especially in Nepal. So we are very much tourism-based economy. So tourism for the last 1 year is completely halted. So it has a great impact on the many of the SMEs as well, and the impact is huge. Loss of sales, cash flow. These are the immediate, but the consequences are severe and mid-term in nature. But despite these challenges, uh, we are paying, as I explained in my PowerPoint presentation, we have been paying our workers and keeping them so far. So our resilience is reflected in our pursuit to continue the business by keeping people, changing the business models, and continuing post-pandemic situation and foresee new business opportunities. Uh, uh, Unfortunately, during this pandemic, we didn't get much needed government support. And besides all these crises, at this time of crisis, we are expecting the possibility of using technology to leverage future prospects. So our entrepreneurial trust will take us beyond this crisis. We need innovation and explore new opportunity. So our strategy is, so we started working with safety measures. So our main concern is to sustain the business and of course to retain the staffs and producers. And for that, we requested some of our buyer organizations, and fortunately, were able to get support from some of our support organizations. And so we did some innovation, and we did some market study. So as we all are seeing, because of the pandemic, the market has been becoming, the online market is becoming more and more popular, and so did we. So we started to explore the opportunity to do online marketing. And of course, since we have the business loss and cash flow problem, we are trying to minimize our cost. And unfortunately, so after 31 years, so we are compelled to close one of our retail outlet, but there is no option. So we don't foresee any improvement in the next 1 year also in our retail sales. And so in the conclusion, I would like to add the current situation. Uh, Slowly, we started feeling that the cases of corona was going down, and the vaccination also started, and we were very much optimistic that the things will improve slowly. But as we all know, the second wave of this pandemic in India also impacted Nepal, since we have open border with India, and a lot of thousands of millions of Nepalese people go there, and we have the free access in the borders. So that impacted in the situation in Nepal also. And in the current last 2 weeks, we have been witnessing a drastic increase in number of infected people, as well as in the death rate. Like yesterday only, in 24 hours, we witnessed 9,000 new cases with 60 dead. So the government has introduced another lockdown for 15 days. So it started on 29th April, and it will last for another two. So it's already 1 week past, and still another 1 week is lockdown. And so we don't know what will happen. So further now, all the businesses are closed, all the FTOs are closed. I just had a brief meeting with my colleagues, Nepalese colleagues in Fair Trade, and we had been discussing what shall we do, and nobody has the answer. All we said is uh, just wait and see, because there is still uncertainty, uncertainty, and uncertainty. So this is the current situation in Nepal. Uh, So that's it in brief,
Yeah.
the case
Thank
of
you.
Sana Hastakala. And so I would like to conclude saying again thank you, and would like to say happy World Fair Trade Day and wish you all the safe stay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chandra. And I would like to open it up to everyone for questions. I would just start by saying that that's, the huge resiliency that you and your organisation have shown through a very, very challenging time. I think, COVID has shown the world to be not as fair a place as we would like it to be. And I know that Nepal was hit particularly hard, and it's sorry to hear that they've been hit very hard again with this latest wave, bordering India, as you said. But it was really great to hear those stories of resiliency. I'd just like to go to our attendees to see if anyone has any questions or anything that you would like to ask Chandra.
Yes.
So we've got a question from Corinne. So she's asking, did the government of Nepal provide any financial support for individual workers or for businesses during the lockdown?
Yeah, I mentioned in my presentation, we didn't get much needed support from the government.
No.
Actually, from Fair Trade Group Nepal also, we requested different subsidies from the government. We submitted the written request to the concerned ministry. So there were, the government did some steps like they gave subsidy on some of the tax, like
Right.
tax subsidy was there, but there was no cash support to any individual or any business organizations. So
Right.
government
So you really
came
had
up,
to work out a way to survive on your own, really.
yeah, the government came up with a program whereby the business organizations could get a loan at a subsidized rate, but it was very difficult for a small organizations like us to apply that.
Sure.
So those type of subsidized interest loans were meant for the big industrial ventures. So SMEs like us were not able to get that support. So I would say almost there is non-existence of government support to the
Right.
artisans and smaller organizations like ours, unfortunately.
Yeah. You mentioned that a good percentage of your business, of course, is reliant on the tourist trade. So people coming to Nepal and wanting to buy, I'm assuming, locally made handcraft and art, artisan work. So obviously that's completely stopped for you. So does that mean?
Completely stopped, completely
Yeah, it's completely stopped. So you're now 100% pretty much reliant on your export business, is that right?
Exactly.
Right.
So yeah, so we are focusing. So we have about 7 or 8 staffs who are involved in the retail market in our shops. So once we are going to close the shop, so we have to involve and engage them also in this export. So we are greatly dependent on export. But the problem is that even our buyers are witnessing the same type of problem. So
Yeah.
in Europe, we might all know. So we are not sure whether we'll be able to get the continue order or not.
Right.
But for the time being, though we don't see any improvement in the coming year in our retail
No, I think
sales,
that's the
so we
same
are
for anyone
most focus
reliant
is on
on
export.
tourists. It's not insistent. And so Karina has a question from the attendees. She said that you mentioned online business as an alternative. That's something you're looking at to the business model. And she says, I understand this is mainly aimed at overseas buyers. Are there opportunities for product or service diversification to meet local demand? So are you looking at products that you can sell to the local market, or is that not really something that works for you?
Actually, it's both. So we started targeting our local market, we have few products which we can target to the local market, like the middle class family or some restaurants. There's some products like ceramics, bags,
Yeah.
pouches, and so on. And we experimented that with an online marketing platform. It's called Daraz.com, which
Mhm.
is a franchisee of Alibaba.com. So
Right.
that is
Yes.
exclusively targeted for local market. The volume is not big, but it's better to have something than nothing. So
Yes.
we started doing that for last 4 or 5 months, and we started getting order for a 5 to 10 pieces every day. So
Right. Okay.
that
So
is exclusively
starting.
for local market, and yeah, it's very product specific.
Mhm.
It's not high value products. It's the low value products, which is handy, like as I
Mhm.
said, small pouches or mugs or something like that.
Right.
And so that's not enough. And
Yeah.
now we are looking for another. So we are trying to go into the online for international market as well. And to do that, so we are um, this redeveloping our website to make it more uh, this customer friendly,
Right.
together with this payment gateways and so on. So we are overhauling our website, which might help us in getting the order from the international market also. So that is, we are still in the process. But for the local online market, when we have lockdown, so the online market also doesn't work. So now since we do have lockdown, so we can't ship the goods. So the
Yes. Yeah. When you
online
can't
market
ship,
also
it's
is
challenging.
completely altered.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the
So
thing.
Karina's asked a follow-up question. She said you mentioned that you offered business training. Is this something you could offer as a service to non-fair trade cooperatives and businesses?
Yeah, this business training, yeah, we work closely with Fair Trade Group Nepal.
Mhm.
And so we have been, as a country network of fair trade organizations, so we have been able to get support from many development organizations. First, we received support from 10,000 villages, Oxfam, UK,
Yeah.
and we had, after earthquake, we had 3 years support from Oxfam Australia also to support
Right. Right. Yeah.
the victims of earthquake. And currently we are working with the IM Sweden, Sweden-based organizations.
Yes.
And so that's a collective effort of fair trade organizations. And though the fair trade organization, we give our support mostly to the member organizations, but we don't limit it to them only. So we
Right.
use the training and support activities as an advocacy of fair trade as well. So we want to attract more and more business people to understand fair trade and come into the network of Fair Trade Group Nepal. So we
Great.
invite and involve non-fair trade organizations. We call them partner. So we orient them on fair trade, and we want them to practice and introduce fair trade. So that way, when we organize the exhibitions, when we provide this like different sort of technical skill development programs like
Right.
design training, product development, photography, and so on, we include non-member as well as a partner.
Yeah, that's great. Another question from Corinne. She's asking, currently, which countries are your biggest markets?
For our organization, Sana Hastakala, Japan is the largest one. So we have 3 buyer organizations in Japan.
In Japan. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. That was unexpected. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, yeah. So Robert's asking, how many other fair trade organizations are there in Nepal?
So yeah, I think I mentioned in my presentation, there are 26 members of Fair Trade Group Nepal, We started in 1996 with 7 founding members, including Sana Hastakala, and all of them were not for non-governmental organizations working in handicraft sector.
Right, but now there's 26, that's great.
Now 26, and that includes not only not-for-profit, for-profit organizations also. With the change in WTO strategy, we had to introduce the private companies also, which have in their mission to support the marginalized producers, and if they adhere the 10 fair trade principles. And now the membership doesn't include the craft sector only. The food products are also included. Now we have member organizations producing organic tea, coffee cooperatives, and recently, most interesting, dog chew. One producers which export a dog chew made from the dairy product. So it's 26 altogether now.
Okay,
but all of them are not the member of WTO. Out of 26, only 11 organizations are the members of WTO.
Right, yeah, so there's varied, it's similar in most country level organizations. I think there's a mix of WFTO, and there's a mix of people that are, have the fair trade label, for example. Usually they're food-based businesses, and then some people that are on the journey to certification or working with others that have the certification. Yeah. Okay, interesting. Were there any other questions from the group? I think probably one thing that I would maybe ask us to finish on, Chandra, is for us here in Australia, as the Fair Trade Association here, and for our members and the people here, what can we do to support you and your business in Nepal? What can we do to help?
Yeah, the first thing, so in fair trade, so as we all know, we do not depend on charity.
Yeah.
So the success of most of the fair trade organizations in Nepal is that though they have the social obligations, so they are very much professional. So we have been able to sustain and develop because we try to be professional in production, in shipment, in marketing, and I'm sorry to say that some of the fair trade organizations, like I mentioned earlier, we saw in 2002 Oxfam UK stopping buying products from us, and in 2019 we saw these 10,000 villages. Original Oxfam, and we have been hearing from all of them that they couldn't sell the products. The products are stocked. So if you are not able to identify the good product, and if you are not professional in the business dealing, it's really difficult to survive. So for us also, we want to grow our business, and on our part, we are trying our best to give you the products which are in demand in markets. So we want to know what type of products we could. So we might need to diversify the products, and products should adhere to the taste of the consumers of the concerned country. So the first and foremost requirement for us is the order. So we need to grow our business in this pandemic. So we need more and more order and more business. Of course, we.
And I think that's, we would love to support you in that. And I know some of the Fair Trade members, Fair Trade of Australia members are buying some product from you, and certainly we're happy to help spread that message. And also I hear there, that you're always keen for feedback on product and what would sell in this market. So I'm sure the members and the people on this call would be happy to, reach out if there's something they think that your team could help with that might be a bit different to what you're selling right now as well.
And as in fair trade, we sell our products with the story. So we would like all our buyers, when they present our products to give a story of how these products are being produced. And so there are a lot of these products which are quite cheap, and so we really face big challenge on the
Yeah.
price factor especially.
Yes,
So
you're talking to people that are with you on that journey, I think.
yeah,
And
so
yeah,
we should educate. I won't say educate. So we should let the customers know that so it has additional value in this product. So it's exclusively handmade. So it's fair trade. So those sort of information sharing would help in promoting more and more fair trade products, I do
yes.
believe.
Just a comment from Corinne saying that she loves your products that are typical of your culture and not for the modern market, such as clothes made in Bangladesh, which have no representation of the Bangladeshi culture. That is a matter in which your artisans should have great pride. So it's a lovely thing for us to perhaps end on there, I think. And it's lovely to see in your final slide here that the people behind the beautiful products and the things that your team makes. Is there anything else you'd like to mention, Chandra, before we finish the call? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you once again. I hope my presentation had made some insights of the organizations like us, how we started and how we have been going on, and what we have been struggling. And so
Yes, thank you.
yeah, I
So
thank you
thank you, Chandra.
all.
I think
Yeah,
that's everyone's popping their thank yous in here as well in the chat. So thank you very much. It was really great to connect with you directly and have a chance to ask some questions and to see a little bit more behind your story. So thanks everyone for joining. We have recorded this session and we will share it online for those that are interested or that people you think might be interested that couldn't make it tonight. And thanks everyone for joining.
thank you.
Thank you.